Hi there, Nick Leclerc here. I was talking to some friends last night and a couple of things came out in the conversation which I just really felt the need to share with you. And I guess it's a bit of context about the human evolution journey we're all on at the moment. And I sort of see it as three different stages from moving from a head-based operating system towards a heart-based operating system and then on to a soul-based operating system. And I guess if we take the headspace first, this is an area that we're probably all of us very familiar with. You know, this is how we think and analyze and rationalize and debate things, you know, from an intellectual perspective, using logic and our IQ or brain power to get us by. So it's very much the area that the power of the mind, and intelligent people are very fond of this. And if you're really clever, then you might get into the mindfulness area, which is sort of on the cusp of something else. But the downsides of this sort of approach are that many people seem to be afraid of their emotions, or they suppress them for some reason, or they don't trust them, you know, for whatever the reasons are in the conditioning or the early upbringing. You know, we're believing things like, you know, don't let your heart rule your head, or we've got to figure things out and, you know, step by step and think things through. These are all the messages, and of course our fears, kind of live in our heads a lot of the time. They can be created in our heads and our minds and also amplified there. So it was just seeming to me that given all the intellectually conflicted information that's flying around at the moment, you know, post-lockdown, the recent highly questionable impositions, this is not the area of our intelligence to really create new solutions from. And so this is where the heart-based operating system kicks in really and tends to become more important, because we have to go inside ourselves, not outside of ourselves, to get the biggest answers that we need. You know, we're looking in the wrong places if we're looking out there for the answers. So this is the opening of the power of love, I suppose, and especially self-love, and our ability to sort of feel compassion for ourselves and others on everybody's journey, and also activating levels of empathy and that sort of circuitry inside us to connect and feel with other people's pains and also their inspirations and breakthroughs. And this, it's just occurring again to me last night in conversation that this is the time of the evolution of our humanity, where the rise of the divine feminine energy is happening to balance out the dominance of the masculine energy for so many years, decades, or however many eons. And the keys to opening these doors are within us. And it's all about our own internal alignment. And this is not, this is through the heart, not just the head. And if you miss the heart stage out, then you pretty much, you kind of miss out everything that's on offer, really, everything that's emerging, because there's something more powerful through the heart space that's really opening again to the next level, which is the soul-based operating system. And this system relies on the heart opening processes happening, but then it seems to activate a much higher level of insight and intuition and innate wisdom, okay? And you actually start to see much bigger pictures playing out. You become aware of more metaphysical and multi-dimensional realities that seem to open up, and you access your own multiple intelligences that are, not just your head, your heart, and your gut, but there's lots of other intelligence centers that seem to open up, and your perceptions are completely changed, really, and upgraded forever. So this is ultimately the three-stage evolution process that we're all going through, and we're all somewhere along that path, on that journey, on the way to becoming ascended beings, if you like, with a higher intelligence. But the key point here is also staying in our physical bodies. And that's really important to understand, because that's why our accelerated human evolution process at this time is so unusual. Unlike the Mayans and other civilizations that seem to just stop or disappear overnight, they left their bodies behind and transcended into a much higher vibrational level of being. But in this case, and this is why it's so interesting and exciting for, so many observers of our evolution, that our bodies we're remaining in our physical bodies. And the physical vehicle is the way, what we're using to transform ourselves. So this is why looking after ourselves physically and doing the inner healing and the emotional work has never been so important. And we just can't afford to run away from our emotions and deny some of the things that are happening in lieu of the headspace, because that's really not going to work. And you kind of end up having your noodles fried big time. So how we fuel and nurture ourselves is really critical at this time, and what we put into our bodies, what we allow into our bodies, that's just good stuff for our bodies and our minds and souls, is really the way that we then create the right level of transformation to happen. So it's this 3-stage journey we're all on, from head to heart to soul operating systems, and not switching anything off, but really just creating a new alignment and I guess a new level of connections between each one of these systems. So I guess a shift from IQ and being clever to emotional intelligence, which is being from the heart, to multiple intelligence and higher intelligence, which is, the big picture journey. So I really felt a need to share that for you. I hope it's helpful in some way. I'd love to hear your comments on this this journey, on your experiences of it, what your current position on the journey is, what major enablers that help you to speed things up, and what roadblocks that seem to be stopping you from time to time. I'd really be curious to see what you come up with. So thanks for listening and watching. Big love. Bye for now.